start with Muna Ishaq or Muna Adam, whatever is called, because in the UK we use lots of surname. She will introduce herself. Like, let me introduce her in Arabic first because I think this is very important. Muna سودانية، ونحن لما بدينا المشروع ده يا جماعة الكونسيبت بتاعه بسيط جدا، فيه جزء ساينتفك وجزء سوشيال ساينس. قلنا ساينتفك أي إنسان سوداني أو من العالم، من أفريقيا، من أمريكا اللاتينية، من أي مكان بقى هاجر whatever سبب الهجرة بتاعته ما مشكلة عندنا، لكن هذا الإنسان مشى بلد آخر ونجح في شغله، كان هو طبيب، كان هو مهندس، كان ميكانيكي، كان أي وظيفة يعملها. قلنا طالما هو نجح في المجتمعات المتقدمة زي بريطانيا وأمريكا وكندا، أكيد عنده حاجات بقى زيادة ممكن يفيد بها الكنتري اوف اوريجين اللي هو بيروح لها وبيشوف فيها أهله وغيره. دي الفكرة البسيطة. وقلنا في جانب كبير في هذه المشروع إنه بينقل معه معرفة. يعني اللي حنستمع لها الأستاذة منى عندها معرفة غير المجال اللي نجحت فيه، إنها ذات الطريقة اللي بتأدي بها العمل. تعاملها مع الزوم ده بيفترق من الناس في السودان اللي أنا تتعامل بها كل يوم. يعني هسه الطوق بتاعها يختلف عن زول في السودان لأنها هي افري داي ممكن تكون بتعمل طوق زي ده. فأنا هخليها تعرفنا بنفسها. She is a successful woman ونحن very much يعني encouraging وكين في الجامعة وفي برامجنا مع الأمم المتحدة women empowerment. المرأة لازم تكون empowered في أي حاجة بتعملها، وهي خير من يتكلم عننا. وقريب شفتوها في عدد من اللغات كانوا على مستوى الدول العربية أو السيدات العربيات أو الأفريقيات. وطبعا ما داري نخش أصلا نقاش هنا، نحن عرب ولا فارغة، ده ما موضوعنا هسه. In English, Muna, thank you very much for joining us. You can speak in any language you like because we have opened this complete flexibility to everyone. Like I said it in Arabic, you are a respected diaspora. You're going to talk about the voice of women, and she will give example from the UK. Muna is yours. If you have a slide, you can do the screen share.
Yeah, hi. Hi, everybody. Hi, Sunny. Thank you very much, Professor Alam. I'm so privileged to be one of your participants in this conference, and just follow you since we met before a couple of years, and I was eager to have part of what you're doing and be participating in it. And I think now the chance has come. Thank you very much. My name is Muna Abdullah Ishaq. But as Professor Allah mentioned it, sometimes Adam, other times Ishaq, because in Sudan I'm known as Muna Ishaq or Ishaq, وهنا في بريطانيا and here in UK as Muna Adam. I came 2004, but since I arrived in the UK, I was already made. Always I'm saying that I was ready made. I brought up in Sudan. I was born in Sudan, brought up in Saudi Arabia, educated in Saudi Arabia. I worked for British Council in Saudi Arabia. So when I came to the UK, I haven't got any problem with the English as a language. But I started working and established myself in UK by doing a lot of volunteer work, by doing some courses to develop myself and develop my skills and try to accommodate myself in a different culture with the Western culture. I'm glad that I met a couple of people from different parts of the world. African brothers and sisters helped us a lot. Sudanese, also my communities helped me a lot to find my way in UK, besides other things in UK itself. I stood as a candidate to become a councillor. First of all, I joined Labour Party because I believe in the values of the party itself. I found myself as a social activist and also political activist. I joined the Labour Party 2016, where I found myself and educate myself, and also they trained me very well. And I've decided to start as a candidate to be a councillor like my Tony in a very difficult part of London, which is Kensington and Chelsea and Kensington, where it's a dominant conservative. And I came the third one, and that is a great result for me. But I start also work with my community. When I say communities, different communities, because in the UK, Sudanese community, not just one a community that you belong to. I joined different communities, getting in touch with many people, different cultures. We try to find a big community to accommodate us as ethnic minority or ethnic minority in UK, and also following and educate each other and helping each other how to find ourselves where we forced to be. Because when I say when we forced to be, because many of us came from different countries where the war over there or different reasons. So let us to be in a different culture, a different country, but what we try to get from this country, what the benefit and advantages that they're giving to us to empower us, whether male or female, and to stand and find a voice for us among a new era, our new country. And I think with many help from different people, I find myself in a position to consider it as a leader. A leader in the UK or in Western countries that you can help your others who need a help, or you can educate others who need education. And that what we say a leader. Leader is not like back home or back in African countries. You have to be a president. No, you have to be a human being that you caring for other issues. That I can introduce myself in this way. What I'm going to present today, strike me recently when I've been invited to participate in a program talking about Muslim women with hijab who managed in UK to get into positions as a judge and as a mayor. A mayor and a judge is a kind of high standard for positions or occupation that you are privileged to hold it. Despite of all the differences in UK, if you're highly skilled and you're highly trained and you believe in yourself, so you can reach whatever you dream of. And I can't see my presentation, Professor Alam. And one of my when I invited to this program, and I spoke about a judge who is a woman, a Muslim, wearing hijab, and another sister, and a Somali, who is born in Somalia, but came here as an asylum seeker, as a refugee, but the country itself, the policies of the country, the policy and believe in the equality and equality and quantity gave them this a chance to reach where they can achieve because they dream of. So that struck me, and when Professor Alam got in touch with me, I said, I'm going to talk about women with a voice. When I said women with a voice, that women or a woman who has a chance to get all what the society provides her with education, awareness, and engagement, and also a chance to compete with the other half, with a man, and if there is any chances for her to get and reach it. Professor Arnam, I can't see my presentation.
Muna, if you go on the bottom, have you your PowerPoint open?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, if you go down, you can see something green bottom called share screen share at the bottom.
Okay. Or
you know في الزوم at the bottom بتلقى حاجه اسمها share screen لون اخضر.
Hold on again. You praise me that I'm a good at. You said share screen.
Yes, في البوتوم مش لاحظت في حاجه اسمها share screen.
Yeah, I've got it here.
دوسيها لما انت تدوسيها بتديك بوكسز. شوفي يلا الباوربوينت بتاعك المفروض يجي عندك.
I've got it. Yeah, I've got it here. Can you see?
Excellent. يلا جس دوسي بيج سكرين عشان نشوف السكرين كبيره تحت.
Yeah, I've got it.
الباوربوينت في الباوربوينت تحت.
Yes.
دوسي show slide في البوتوم.
I can see it, but I'm not quite sure. Do you see it or not?
لا في الباوربوينت تحت.
Yeah.
بتلقي العلامه بتاعت السكرين اللي هي الشاشه دي ايوه جنبها بس دوسي جنب ايوه دوسي دي.
Yes.
يلا بعد ده واصل.
Okay, you can see here when I started because I'm so proud that in UK I'm one of the directors of an organization called Shaman PR, and this Shaman PR is a part of some of the work we do in empower women and also dealing with domestic violence as an issue in UK. When I say country, I mean UK. I know that I've got two countries. I'm so lucky that I have more than one country. I've got a mom and dad, which is UK and Sudan. So, and Shaman PR is one of my organization. I worked in that organization and dealing with different issues. And also there is a sign for what we're suffering now is COVID-19. And the title, A Woman is Your Voice. I start my presentation talking about COVID-19 is really a cry, I think, for the whole global world about what is happening. Is not by any means caused by human being or is a nature one, I think, notice that we fighting, is struggling to communicate or get together. And so when COVID-19 appeared or spread it, so the whole global turned upside and down. It's a disease where different ways to spread and affected so many people and it's affected our economies and we're suffering for untold losses. So we hear or read about dies, people losing their lives in America, in Sudan, in Nigeria, in China. So we couldn't control it. Nobody could manage or can imagine that something like this could happen. And men and women suffering from the same symptoms, elderly and children are suffering from the same symptoms and same results by losing their lives. And what happened? We noticed that it's still in front line men. I'm not against men, but I do believe in equality. Equality that the society divided in men and women. And what I was expected as a woman to see more women in front lines, to see more women coming in board and talking about what we lost and how we can fix it together. But it's still equality, we call for it, but it we couldn't apply. But I think now then we need to apply equality between men and women, and so we can survive. We from this picture we can see most of these women, or seven of them, as leaders for their countries, and I went through what they've done. They've done a lot, and even they came abroad on the television, TV, and they talk about the COVID-19, and they talk what they suffer from, and they try to maintain their countries under control and try to save lives, try to accommodate and comfort the nations about what's going on. So women, they can have voice, but we need to listen. What we need to listen. We need to spread our hands and work together, men and women. So by empowering women, I think we can save a lot of lives, we can save values, we can build society and communities. Here, the first judge is a Muslim. So in UK, despite all problems before, despite 11, September 11, despite all that thing, but what I've seen in UK as an example, giving chances. So we need to empower our women, and I think my brother Sani can come with this with me. We need to empower women from ethnic minority backgrounds to hold themselves, to hold their communities, to hold their lives and their families, and so we can have a voice. So I think our roles as a leaders, or we consider ourselves as a leaders, we need to grab these chances. We need to empower women in our community, especially in UK. Empower women, I'm going to talk about what empower women I mean. We empower women that by let our women or teach our women that they can, the empowerment inside themselves. They have to believe on themselves. They have to educate themselves. We need to talk a lot about the empowerment. We need to plant it into our women and into our communities by giving women the chances and also help them to go through this empowerment and also to accept empowerment means accepting and allowing people or women, because I'm talking about women, to be in the decision making process. That means we have so many leaders in the Western countries, but we're missing leaders in our own communities here, the small communities and big countries back home. So by empowering women, I think we can see differences. And here again, this is my sister or a Somali Maya in UK, and to become a Maya and to be a woman from African background and a Muslim, I think that a huge step. I have to admire them and I have to look at them as a role model for me as a woman, as the ethnic minority, as African, as a Muslim woman. So that when we empower women and put them in to participate in a decision making, so high that high, so where we can see differences and where we can find a new generation that can solve some of our problems. To be honest, I think when COVID-19 is spread, I thought it's a disaster. But when we step back and look into ourselves and what we need in our communities, I thought kind of a call for to be aware to do what we believe in, to aware to see what we're missing in our communities, in ourselves. And so that's why I call this presentation as a voice, a woman with a voice. And what the impact? The impact for coronavirus, I think we have a different impact in the whole our process, in whole life. There's no impact. But when I look into women and how the coronavirus, COVID-19 affected them, I think they're going to affect them economically, because when I went through all these researches presented by different organizations, we're going to lose a lot of women who really we didn't think about them, women who used, because now most of us in lockdown used to do a little jobs, but so important to us. I read about the women who work in factories to reduce our clothes, and so many brands, big brands, now they nearly to shut down in UK. I look into the domestic violence, and also during the COVID-19, families came together, locked together, and a lot of violence against women and girls. And now just is so quiet and silent, and so many families suffering from it. And during this time also, we didn't have a proper system to tackle and to understand, or even to find out how much domestic violence is this communities and how they're suffering and how we can solve that thing. Because if we get just going, I'm going to give an example about domestic violence, how it suffer during COVID-19, and also gender equality. As I said, gender equality and women's empowerment. Also, we're missing that. So many medical advisors appear in our TVs talking about what the cause of the COVID-19, how they're going to manage it, but we're missing seeing women's faces coming out and talk about it. And even we are the more people suffering from it. And again, national planning, we haven't seen anything. And always, I'm not, again, what my call is for, we have to think again, and we have to use all what we got from expertise, even women or men. But what I've noticed, that there is a huge gap between women and men, men in the front line and women behind the front line. And that strikes me to think again, what we're calling is that what we're applying? I think no. So what we need to do, we need to rethink and see how we're gonna apply all this national planning to accommodate women among them. Uh, Human rights and so many things, women rights, all these things. Why after the COVID-19, I think we remove the cover and we discover there is so a lot work need to be done. And we again, women calling, or what women with a voice that are part of the solution for coming days, so we can stand and think how we do. And this is why just explain how domestic violence works during the COVID-19. We're missing a lot. And so that means many people, maybe they're suffering, many women, maybe they're suffering. Last 2 weeks, I received seven cases from domestic violence, but up to now, we couldn't open any case. Why? Because so many things like data protection, many organizations work together, but most of them are in lockdown. Kids in that domestic violence cases, but we couldn't do anything about it. Police tried his best to communicate or to liaise with different organizations to sort out how we can work out all these problems. So COVID-19 is the kind of another cry for how we're dealing with so many issues in our society. And why I pick up UK, because kind of UK, they've got most of their policies into the place, but still during the COVID-19, it seems like so many gaps. Nobody as a human being or as a society or the community or as a leader, Councillor Asani, we missing a lot of work, and we need to think carefully about it, and we need to rework our work again by preparing our organizations, ourselves, our system to tackle this kind of problems if any natural disaster happens as a COVID-19. And again, what we need, this about domestic violence. And I'm going to give another example if my time is still there. I've got another case, which is asylum seekers, women who claim asylum seekers. Really, during COVID-19, we heard and we read a lot of that from the system, a lot of problems among them because the social climate has changed, people locked down, and so nowhere to go. Housing issues, which is most of them homeless, and you cannot protect yourself when you're wandering on the streets. The lack of basic human needs, such as clothing, food, internet. We're now communicating by internet, and where we can even socialize by internet. There is a part of our society left behind and suffering a lot. And when I say part of our society, I mean women who claim asylum, and up to now they haven't got any kind of help, or we cannot sort out how we can help them. So that's why I've chosen a woman with a voice, what we need, and again, from our decision makers, from our people who really in the power, and our frontline men to rethink and try to fill this gap, because there's huge problems appears after COVID-19. And what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to do, I think we need to look again how to empower our women and how to empower them by knowledge, know about what they're suffering, know their problems, know how what they're gonna face and how we're gonna solve this. And other things, education. When you educate a woman, you save half of the society. And again, practice would like the decision makers and people in the power to practice by giving women a chance to raise their voice. When I say raise their voice, not protesting, I mean raise their voice by participating in making their own decision and taking their decision. And I think most important, hear their voice. We need to hear women's voices when they raise it up, because when you hear their voices, you can tackle the problems. When you tackle the problems, you can sort it out. And when you can sort it out, I think you can live in a safe environment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Muna. Really good, very good presentation. Particularly, after this 2-3 o'clock, you really need, is good. Normally, normal conferences, people, even Monica from America, hello, Monica. I can see that people from America start to join up. This conference, I mean, today has been very exhausting because we move from place to place. Muna, one question came here, and I will let you start answering, and then I will close by Amir and Sunny. This is Echo, the Prime Minister of, what is it, New Zealand.
Yeah.
Many people said she's, I don't want to use a word which she didn't use, but more or less the commentators are saying she's without the big support she received from her partner, she would never have become a prime minister. Yeah, what she meant by that, he is a very supportive partner, yeah. Not just in helping her domestically, but in helping her even sitting down behind the table like this, drafting the letters, campaigning. So he's a true partner, not just at home, but at our work. So imagine as a politician, and I mean, I'm sure Sunny will echo that, you need someone to trust all the time and so on. To what extent you agree that for women to lead, whatever lead means, manager, CEOs, minister, she needs a very much, not only understanding partner, but supportive. And supportive is mean fully supportive. Work, talking to her, and so on and so on. And how can we change the mentality of men to understand this word of full support, not just, oh, helping her or look after the kid or food. That's not really, I don't think that's the job. That's something it's just helping. My kids, they love their mom's food better than me. That's something, nothing to do with what is kind of whose job. So what do you think? Can you comment on this? Because we're really looking forward to change as much as we can the ethos so that women can actually be enabled, not giving them training, no, enabled by giving them the time, the support, and then they can lead. Yeah, you can start this one.
Can I start from a message I received from Monica? I can read it here, and she called me Iman. I think she meant Mona.
Okay.
And what she mentioned is that she's so glad that I emphasized the importance of partnership between women and men. I believe in the community or the society or the nation itself. We divide it into women and men. And the support that she talks about is very important, Dr. Alam or Professor Alam, because I think through the awareness and education, and I emphasize on education that the whole society believes in women's roles, and they believe that women can go out and can fully participate and deliver what the message or what the job that applied for her by getting support from the community itself. And I can give you an example to explain this. In Sudan, okay, in Sudan, we believe Kandaka or women, they were part of the revolution recently. Okay, but when there is some certain kind of jobs appeared lately, we noticed they missed women from many positions that the government or the new government given to men. And that means, and even if you follow up the Facebook, and when women express their concern, there is no roles for them, or there is no positions for them, or there is no attendance for them from the government, and you can see the abusive response from men who believe in women, or men that they think they believe in women roles in the society. When I talk about education, I think we need to include that at schools from the beginning, to teach our young generation or young kids about the roles of the woman. A woman can be a mom, she can be a sister, she can be a teacher, she can be a prime minister. And even in Sudan, after a huge loss of lives, and when some people call for Dr. Fadwa to become a prime minister, and the amount of disagreement from men's side demanding that they were not capable to hold this kind of position. And also ministers, ambassadors. Just 2 days ago, I've seen like 12 new ambassadors for different over the world, and not a single seat for a woman. And just negotiation, Sudan in different wars, and up to now we haven't seen a negotiator, a woman. Okay, that come to my attention when I call for support, when I call for we need to hear a women's voice. What we need really to apply that from the child, I think from kindergartens, so that the kids learn about how important his mom and his sister to take part in the society, to build the society. We're talking about capacity building. I think we need to educate our men, our kids' men, to understand the role of the woman. And if we go back in a religion side, Prophet Muhammad, first time, he ran to his wife, who was older than him, I think by a couple of, a decade, 10 years or more, but he supported her. And when he
felt that he's gonna pass away. Okay, he excused his wives to be with the youngest, the last one of the loved one, Aisha, to be with her. And we studied that, but we don't believe in it. I mean, when I say believe in it about our men, they don't believe in it. They can give it as example. If the man in my community or my society believes that he has right to marry 3-4 women, and I think I deserve from him a support. For me, when I would like to go to campaign, to present, to participate, what we're looking for a real values for our women to take part in our society. So I do agree what she said. I do, and even here in the UK, when I stood as a candidate, okay, I've got a support from my party because I'm caring for my parents. So to give me a time off from caring, they supported me with whatever I asked because that in their policies.
Yes.
I'm talking about lack of policies in our certain communities. And even here in the UK, domestic violence among women, all the women being hit through their husbands. Some of them, they've been hit because when she asked, she want to go to college. And believe me, I have a woman now nearly to lose her 3 kids, okay? Because the husband, as soon as she asked to go out to study, that time the problem started because he felt threat. He's scared that as soon as she gets out from the house, he's gonna lose her. So what we need to build the trust, to build a value of the woman as a woman, not just a wife.
بنحلم بفضاء أوسع بنحلم بزمن أجمل بلاد MENA بلاد MENA